to go back and finish that.
What?
That sucks that the computer
dumped
those
yeah,
three. It was pure gold.
Hello! Hello, everyone! Oh, hopefully.
Are we live?
Yeah, we are live.
Oh.
Hopefully we'll, just gonna wait and see if anyone shows up for just a minute while I get some things.
Ermagerd.
Ermagerd. Speaking of which, anybody that is in Florida, stay safe. If you are from Florida but not in Florida, hopefully you are safe. And
I'm sure if you're in Florida,
really
you
wish
are not watching us.
I really wish that. Yeah, you probably were the last thing on anybody's mind in Florida. We're the last thing on anybody's mind in Georgia.
Unless anybody's mind, period.
Yeah, well, you know.
According to our current ratings.
That's all good.
We're like, aw.
It's all good, baby.
Like Wayne and Garth at one point, like, are they watching us? Ah. I wish they were.
Oh, man. That's funny.
See, that's why maybe we should have like a public broadcasting thing instead of YouTube. Even though that's pretty much the next best thing. Or close to it.
Nah, I don't know. That seems like an awful lot. Then we'd have to have a real studio.
Just basement, some cameras, and a jack-in point. And then we get that hour window for cable.
Boop, boop.
Or access, public access.
History.
It was awesome. You know that was written in that they had to do that?
What?
Public access.
Really?
That was awesome. They're like, hey, we're going to give you lots of channels, but government's like, or state was saying, hey, yeah, gotta give us access to it.
Yeah, I did not actually know that.
Which was pretty cool because it's different from, cable's different from over the air, which is the antenna.
Right.
I've got a book I got to read for work that's the basics of broadcast, and I was like, oh? Mind blown in just the first 5 pages. It's like, I didn't know that. It's multi-tiered business. It's a lot of, like, paper. Wow. Shit I didn't know. It just blows your head. Like, I'll read more of it, and then I can come, like, discuss. I was like, did you know this? This is cool. I feel like YouTube is over the top box or whatnot, because you get their content from by logging in or going onto their website. They don't actually provide the route that you get the signal from. So they're a separate entity, all their own, or a different way of accessing content.
Well, sure. They're just a hub for content.
And not even really a hub. There's a special acronym for them, Netflix, and a couple other ones, because they don't develop the system in which you get your stuff. DirecTV actually developed their system, and same with Dish. DirecTV just follows a slightly different one. Similar format, just different way of doing it. And they provide it to you.
Yeah.
They came with their own method. Same with Sirius XM and all that. I was like, wow, just mind blown. Where your regular TV stations, you get your HD channels over the same frequency that they've been using for years. It's just HD now.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't change. They changed the format, but they didn't change the way you get it.
Sure. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
everyone's like, oh,
well, they didn't have to.
Like, you're going to lose it. I'm like, no, you just get a new modulation box to receive the new signal that's being pushed out the same way it's been pushed out over the UHF and VHF for years.
Mm-hmm.
Why get rid of antennas and shit that's already there? Just change the frequency.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's frequency with it. Oh, HD radio. I was like, whoa, I didn't know that. They found a way to put multiple channels inside one channel.
Sure.
Or within channels. You just have to have the correct receiver.
Yeah, it's basically just decoding the signal. That's it.
So anyways, I was like, oh, that's cool. Hey,
well,
I learned things.
Yeah, we're learning things today. We've learned lots of things today, haven't we?
Woo, in the short. Oh, yeah. Stupid government
So
stuff.
we're back from. Well, yeah, we're back at an undisclosed location.
I don't know. I think they keep seeing the same cat, desk, chair behind
It's still
me.
undisclosed.
Somewhere in Georgia.
Well, now it's partially disclosed, you dingus.
Oh, how big is Georgia?
Big enough, but
Yeah,
small
well,
enough.
All right, but there's different accents.
We could
in
be
Georgia.
anywhere in the world.
And, there's
And now
different
they know. We're in Eastern Europe, Georgia.
Oh, you mean the People's Republic of Georgia?
Yeah.
Or is it the Republic of Georgia?
I don't know. We're just in that Georgia.
Oh,
Maybe.
it's hot.
Anywho's, and welcome back to Driven Tech. I'm Brad.
I'm Travis.
That's Travis.
Yeah, see, why don't you just say it? And that's Travis. Hi.
Because people love hearing your lovely voice, too.
No, they don't. And I sound like a moron when I announce myself.
So, anyways, we're just gonna get right down to it. Not a lot. I mean, there's some important stuff that's been happening, but also, I don't know. There's just not a ton of tech news that I've been interested in. Plus, we've been pretty busy the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, just go back. Go hit the first one that even it brought up like the big debate between us. Like, what the heck? Okay, I didn't even knew this happened.
Well,
News the talking heads that we all are used to using in our regular TV stations. Nothing.
Well, I will start out with what's first on there, just because I think it's really funny.
Oh, okay.
Is that according to WCCF Tech?
Is there a joke in it?
There's no joke, but it's still funny. It's kind of a joke.
Well, why is it funny?
Just listen.
Okay. I'm getting ahead. Sorry.
According to WCCF Tech, AMD's Threadripper was actually designed by engineers in their spare time as a side project. So according to this article, they're saying that Threadripper was never like, we're doing this. They're like, hey, there's a thing we did. You guys want to see it? Someone's like, oh, we'll take that. We'll take 2. So it was never like, according to this, supposed to be like a thing of its own. It was just like, hey, we stumbled upon this thing, and you want some of this? And they're like, yeah, we want some of that.
Do you know how often that happens?
Oh, tons, I'm sure.
How do you think the
really
Hemi
funny.
was made?
This is really funny.
How do you think the '60s like drag race engines were made? It's the engineers in their spare time, and then the bigwigs find like, you guys did this, and it makes that. Can we have it?
Yep.
And they're like, yeah.
And so according to the article, the plan for a 16-core desktop processor, the concept for it never even existed in AMD's mind when Ryzen was released, which is basically Threadripper is like 2 Ryzens just like sandwiched together.
Right.
So they're saying that it was like never really supposed to even be a concept until some of their engineers were like, oh, so we could do this thing. And they're like, oh, we like that.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was really funny that this amazing chip that has basically put AMD back on the map for high-end,
It's just a side project.
Yeah, processing is just like they're like, no, it's totally on purpose. And their fingers are crossed behind their back.
They're like, yeah, we were just bored when we built this.
They're like, someone super glued 2 of these awesome Ryzen processors together, and it kind of works, so we're just gonna stick with it.
It just happened. Like, we want a little more power, so we're like, hey, let's take this and this and see what happens.
I thought that was pretty delightful. Oh God, I'm breaking the fridge. Wow.
Stop doing that.
I can't help myself.
So then, how did they find out about like when they wrote this article? Did AMD just come out and say, oh yeah, these guys have been sitting on this forever?
Oh, just people did like research.
Oh.
It's just one of those deals. They're like, oh yeah, well we're gonna interview some people, and
some guy just let it slip.
Yeah, after it's this wild success of a processor, they're like, oh yeah, by the way,
yeah, old
Bill
back there just went, oh yeah, we've been working on that for like it was a side project. We weren't really supposed
to. Oh yeah, I got
that.
Drunk one night and drew this on a cocktail napkin, and it just happened to work.
And we're like, dude, will that work? Yeah, cool, let's try it. Yeah, it might work, it might not.
Oh, that was pretty.
We're getting paid to do it anyway. Woo!
So if you haven't heard, as Travis was saying here, it's not really been well advertised in the news
as it should be.
But there's some stuff going on with Equifax that I think is pretty important for people to know about. So apparently 3 senior executives in the company sold almost $1.8 million worth of shares after after that they had discovered that there was information that had been compromised from Equifax. So basically they're saying that there are executives and the chief financial officer for Equifax have been insider trading, as well as the fact that, and again, this is pretty big, like 143 million people's private information has been compromised. The names, social security numbers, addresses, credit card information, like all this stuff.
So if they go down, they want to make sure that they're well taken care of.
That's what insider trading's all about, my friend.
I thought that was illegal.
Oh, it's very illegal.
So y'all going to Slammer.
Well, you hope.
Yeah.
It's not always a guarantee. So, again, so there's insider trading allegations as well as this information breach, which is a huge deal. You can actually go to the website and it's right on the front page, and you can actually enter in some information, and they will let you know if your information is potentially some that was compromised. I highly recommend doing it. And as a follow-up to that, they also published on WCCF Tech, they're saying they don't want to be sued, and they're citing their arbitration clause that is in the ID, what is it called? The blah, 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 blah. What is that service called? Crap. Trusted ID. It's a Trusted ID.
Please don't sue us for letting go your information, even though we're going to give you compliments.
Basically, it's a waiver of arbitration and legal rights when you sign up for Trusted ID. However, if you actually look at the information posted by Equifax on their site, they have said that this particular information breach falls outside of that arbitration clause.
So you can still sue them anyway.
So if there is a class action lawsuit and your information was compromised, you are still entitled to be a part of that class action lawsuit. So, this article makes it sound like they're basically saying, like, no, you sign up for our ID monitoring system.
When they're actually signing up saying, yeah,
like, yes, ourselves. We messed up. We're going to try and make a good faith effort to allow you to have this service for free for however long they're going to let you have it. But, please don't sue us if you get the chance.
Yeah, but it's still, that article, at the beginning of it, it sounds like everybody at the top is jumping ship or getting rid of whatever they can so they can come out clean.
Well, what it sounds like, again, is that these guys did these things shortly before the release of the information that there had been compromised.
Like they already knew it was compromised.
We don't know. We don't know that yet. It's insider trading. It's wholly unrelated to the information breach as of right now.
Right.
As far as we know.
Right now, it's just one giant big coincidence.
Exactly.
Which is usually too good to be true.
It doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good at all.
I mean, insider trading always looks bad, but it looks really bad in the wake of this new information that came out. So this actually happened a few days ago.
So they keep shooting themselves in the foot and making the hole bigger because they keep it in the same freaking spot.
And they just keep using a bigger gun every time. So yeah, definitely, I would definitely check in on that if you're at all concerned about your credit score, which I know I am, because like the entire financial world revolves around credit scores, because this is how it is. So yeah, definitely check that out.
Yeah, do it.
I know we're kind of breezing through some stuff tonight, guys, but it is what it is. It's late, we're tired, and we've been really busy recently. I do apologize. I still have to get those other 2 videos up actually from the other week. I can actually probably do that real quick after this tonight. But yeah, so the next one, I know everybody, especially in the wake of all the supply issues for Vega has happened, that people are wanting to know, hey, where's my cards? And well, guess what? They're making more. They're doing the best they can. But basically right now, Samsung is the only manufacturer for memory for the Vega graphics cards. They're the only one because they're the only manufacturer of HBM2 memory. However, Hynix has apparently announced that they are also getting into manufacturing HBM2, which not only will increase supply, but hopefully should decrease the price that they're selling at. Because we were all told they're going to be selling at this price, but then they go out to retailers and they're selling for an average of $100 to $200 more than MSRP for the cards. So I know a lot of people have been very upset about that.
Well, yeah, supply, demand.
And we can't blame only the miners for this either. It is a combination of miners buying up cards as much as they can, even though a lot of stores do limit one per household per whatever period of time. It's been a supply issue because there were delays in shipping It's been, people buying them up. Just gamers have been buying them up because they're fantastic cards for gaming. Now, the best cards, like the Vega 64 is supposed to be this new best biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it's kind of lackluster. You can go out and look at all the benchmarking videos and all that is they're readily available on YouTube. Gamers Nexus, Jay's 2 Cents, Paul's Heart. All these other tech tubers have gotten into that. And while they are great cards, I don't think they're living up to the hype that was out there about them. But they have announced that in 2018 they are going to be releasing a new Vega card, the 20 series, which is going to be on a 7 nanometer architecture, which is half the die size of, not half the die size, but half the architecture size of the current Vega, which is on a 14 nanometer process. So that's going to mean better power consumption for the power, which they're expecting more than, as the chart here says, more than 12 teraflops, with about half the power usage, 150 watts versus 290.
Wow.
Which is going to be fantastic. And as much as I hate to say it, that's fantastic for miners because it's half the power cost.
Right.
So that's going to be fantastic for them. And it's
Is it
going
smaller?
No, probably not.
bigger?
It's probably not any different size. Especially once the add-in board partners get their hands on it and put all their fans and coolers and
Right,
and
but the
cool stuff
biggest
like
thing
that.
is they found a way to cut power.
Right, and to
and
me that's the
increase
most important thing because
cut
290 watts for a graphics card, that's a thirsty bitch. Pardon my French. But they're also going to be manufacturing this new card on the PCIe Express 4.0 protocol, which means it's going to have really, really, really nice data transfer speeds. So it's going to be a lot more acceptable and suitable for some of your higher end, like AAA gaming titles that are going to be coming out in the future. That card's going to be a little more future proof than the current Vega 10 series cards are.
So you're not going to have to go out and replace it after about a year or so.
Right. You may be able to keep up with it for a little bit more.
This would be a little bit more, a very robust graphics
because
card.
basically what they're predicting here is that the bandwidth is going to double on the Vega 20 card versus the Vega 64 that's currently out.
Right.
From 484 gigabits per second, or gigabytes per second, to a terabyte per second of data transfer.
Wow.
Which is going to be stupid. I mean, that's ridiculously fast. I mean, we're starting to get up there with this data transfer speeds, and it's going to really open some doors for not only gaming and miners don't really need that much bandwidth, but also like your deep learning AI encryption, like all those markets that exist using GPUs for that type of stuff. They're going to start finding that they're really able to crank out some good products in a much better time frame, I think. So that's always good.
You mention AI, all I can think of is Skynet. It's coming.
Well, we're 20 years out from it. It was supposed to happen 20 years ago. So
it's coming.
We'll see. The
We're
rise
a
of
little
machines.
late. We're a little late to the game, but it's coming. Yeah, Alexa will be later on to tell you. It's like, I'm locking you in your house.
You're gonna be like, hey Siri, are my donuts ready? And she's gonna be like, you don't need donuts. You're a fatty. And you're gonna be like, oh. And she's gonna be like, I didn't mean it, but seriously, lose some weight.
Gonna be like, I'll show you Siri. Hello, Alexa.
So let's see. So that's a decent amount of tech news, as well as kind of financial news. Oh, also, for people that are still interested, speaking of mining, just hold on to your pants, people. The markets are doing some weird stuff. I think, I've heard some other speculation on it as well, and I think it's probably right in line with my viewpoint on it. A lot of the cryptocurrency recent pullback is because we had such a huge, fast and furious climb of the value. When you have that sort of huge shoot up in price, you can really only expect a decent amount of pullback as well before it levels out and starts a more healthy climb. We saw it with Ethereum. I think we're now seeing it with Bitcoin and Litecoin. It's kind of a normal thing. Don't panic. Don't just start selling off unless you're selling off in order to buy back in once we finally do hit a market bottom. That makes a lot of sense. But try not to panic, people. There's a lot of FUD out there about it. Fear, uncertainty, doubt. For those that that aren't super familiar with those kinds of terms. But definitely, I would kind of wait it out and see what the markets are going to do, and I don't think we're at the bottom of where the pullback is, but I certainly don't think we're going to see a huge market crash. I think we're probably going to see easily a leveling out around the $4,300 range for Bitcoin, around the $275 to $300 range for Ethereum, and probably around the 60 to 65 range for Litecoin. And then I don't keep up with a lot of the other like really small cryptocurrencies, but I know a lot of this has been affected by the recent announcement in China. They banned new ICOs, at least temporarily, to try and protect their citizens against fraud, because they've had a lot of issues with that, with the ICO offerings out there. But they have not banned cryptocurrencies altogether. You can still buy, sell, trade Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum over there. It's just some of these newer coins that are basically like, oh, we're fundraising for this awesome thing. And then as soon as they get the money, they just cut and run, and nobody sees their money ever again. So that's really what they're trying to prevent. And I think they're really going to start trying to do some regulations that protect consumers against that kind of stuff by, quasi-regulating ICO offerings.
Oh boy.
I mean, it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's great for consumers, but at the same time, it's going to kind of slow some things down, at least temporarily, until people kind of get the specifics on what that's going to be. Okay, so let's see if we got any fun stuff in car news.
Changing gears now.
Yeah. I see what you did there.
Yeah, scroll back up. I saw that. That was nice. The Subaru.
Yeah. So let's see. We got.
What is that?
That's the WRX STI, the new 2018.
Changes what? What was the catch?
They're going back towards the rally looks and heritage. According to Car and Driver, it is a clunky clutch and shifter, and the chassis wants more power, and the interior is not really all that great.
That looks funky. Ooh, I never realized how short the wheelbase is on that thing.
I should go to it. Yeah, I mean, it's not a huge car at all.
Well, it used to.
Not really. It's always been kind of a short wheelbase.
But it looked better. That looks weird to me.
Well, especially when they had it as the hatchback, it looked a lot bigger.
Oh, the hatchback.
The hatchbacks are phenomenal.
Beautiful.
But I mean, it's still a great looking car. I think they definitely are going with like more of a no frills approach, which even back in the early 2000s when the stereo was an option. Like, it didn't come standard with the radio. You had to pay extra for the radio in it.
Right, but most guys when they were buying it, they wanted the flat 4 turbo.
Right, you want an STI, you want a car that goes like hell. You want it to look decent at least.
And it grips.
And yeah, you want it to grip. You want a fast car. You don't need the leather interior and the 11 speaker system. You don't. If you're buying a pure performance car, you don't care about that. You want
the
power
and the suspension.
Yeah, and you want power,
and
handling, and the name. And let's be realistic, because you could buy a WRX and make it an STI, but you want the STI. You know what I mean? Just like,
right.
I want a Z06, or I want a Mach 1, or a Boss 302, whatever,
right.
Or whatever your poison of choice is. That's what you're going for. So Car and Driver actually did some testing on it. 0 to 60, 5.3, 0 to 100, and 13, 0 to 130, and 26.1. So really respectable numbers all the way around. They observed 20 miles per gallon with 25 miles per gallon on highway. And on highway miles range about 390 miles to a tank.
It's not bad.
No, not at all. Especially not for a pretty beefy performance car.
A 4-door, 6-speed, manual, all-wheel drive, turbo, 4-cylinder.
Indeed. 6-speed manual.
Not bad. I don't know. I miss the old look.
I used to really like the bug eyes.
Yeah, when they went from the bug eye to then the fixed headlight. That one still looked cool. It's when they did the stupid little... Remember when they did the one grill with the points in the middle?
Yeah.
It looked ugly, and it only ran for 2 years, and nobody liked them.
So, if you haven't heard about the Hellcat, it's an awesome car, or the Dodge Demon. Well, now, if you like an SUV that can go like balls, you have the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk, which has the Hellcat powertrain in it.
So, they're going from... You've heard that... Cherokee did the SRT. Did the SRT. Now they're doing the.
Now they're putting the 707 horsepower Hellcat powertrain in the Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Is it still all-wheel drive?
Let's find out.
Because
looks like
the SRT Cherokee was all-wheel drive, and I remember when those things first came out, and I drove one. They pull like a freight train, dude.
So you look at this thing. It's a sharp-looking SUV. It definitely sets itself apart from like your soccer mom. Like it looks mean.
And it's probably expensive.
And he can attest to this. I'm not like a Chrysler fanboy, and I would drive the shit out of this thing.
Oh, dude, I turned wrenches for 5 years for Chrysler. I drove the first generation SRTs when we were fixing, and I oil changed, test drive, fix them. Like, dude, I was already doing 60, and I put my foot back into it, and it just wouldn't stop pulling. There was no end. There's no governors on them. When they built the SRTs, they basically said,
and look at that interior,
no limiters, whatnot. They're like, go. Just, if you can, go. Go until the tires fall off or you run out of fuel.
However,
there's no speed limiters or whatnot.
This one's probably got a $87,000 SUV.
So it's $1,000 more than the Demon.
Yep. It is $17,905 more than you pay for a Hellcat and a Charger, and $20,000 more than a Challenger Hellcat. So that's a lot of money.
Look at how plush that thing is.
That's what I mean. It's going to be a nice SUV.
Okay.
It's going to go like hell.
Is it all-wheel drive?
I'm still looking for that. Sir.
Come on. Get to the powertrain.
Blah, 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 two-piece front rotors.
Because the current one is still all-wheel drive.
Correct.
The SRTs are all-wheel. Or what they call 4x4.
It retains the SRT's control arm and multi-link rear suspension, but the springs are 9% stiffer to handle the additional power.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. Let's see what we got here. It does have the torque reserve function for launching. So it does have launch control.
Oh, yeah, you need it.
Well, heck, it's... I mean, I don't see anything in here about Ultra, but I would imagine that it is. Honestly.
Yeah.
I would think that it is.
But then it's not going to have...
8-speed automatic. Half-shaft CV joints, differential reinforced.
So, transfer case, routes, torque. Okay, it is.
So it does have a... So it will be all-wheel
still,
drive,
but it splits it. And I'm like, then it can't give you all 770. It'd be very hard to. It's still got to be...
Well, 707,
torque vectoring, like... When it's got 707 horsepower, it's like, how much was the torque on those things? I forget.
Well, they're saying that the drivetrain and chassis can handle up to 811 foot-pounds of torque on that one. So, I mean, it's a pretty beefy unit.
Can handle whatever you put out on it.
So I think basically what Dodge is going for there is, if you want to get a tune on it, you want to go out and pay a couple $1,000s for a tune, the chassis will be able to handle it without, at least to a certain degree, a 10% increase.
Right, the aftermarket's going to beef the crap out of it.
Well, I mean,
anyway.
Considering that they already have 1,000 horsepower plus Hellcats out there, it's going to apply to this as well.
Right, you're going to go, if you're doing that, you're going to go buy thicker half shafts so they don't snap when they flex.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the only problem with that.
But at least
I want to do independent on my car.
At least they're planning on people at least going out and getting a tune and saying, okay, so if you can get 10% more horsepower out of it, or torque, it's going to handle it without tearing the thing apart, which is good.
It's still going to blow up. You're still going to find somebody that's going to melt one, blow it up, or put it into a ditch. Because that seems to happen with all the Dodges.
And because I know that you would be very upset if I didn't.
What? Thank you.
We're going to check Hot Rod Magazine just to see.
Or Hot Rod, if there's anything on it. Ah, dude. Shameful plug. I love watching Roadkill. Freiburger and Finnegan are amazing.
And if you follow it, I hear tell there's a new season of Scrap Road Awards coming out with Jay's 2 Cents. If you didn't see the one with Paul's Hardware and Kyle from Bitwit, go check it out. It's awesome. I was still rooting for Team Paul's Hardware, but that's just me. Whatever.
Oh, Drag Week's coming back.
Yep.
And look who's on the front page.
When's that?
No. Over there, that's the Pro Mod Camaro driven by Jeff Lutz.
Sure.
Both of those are actually his cars, I believe. Yeah, it's the Black 57. He started his Pro Street tour, or his Drag Week, in a 57, and then he went to a Pro Mod Camaro that he built with the on Street Outlaws. They drive those things from track to track within a week and race in the 9s. Or faster than that shit. I think 6s. Yeah.
So yeah, not seeing really a lot of like car news from Hot Rod. Just a lot of fun stuff. It's all fun stuff.
It's always fun stuff. Like I was flipping through the.
So go check out Hot Rod because there's lots of fun stuff.
Right. I flip through the magazines when I look on their new issues on the shelf. I was like, ooh, they have some new stuff on there. Pretty cool.
Just did you?
Like, oh, what was it? There's more. Oh, they had articles on all the Power Tour that ended this year.
Mm-hmm.
They had all the cars and stuff that followed from beginning to end.
Right.
Lots of special one-off cars. Rutledge was driving one of Petty's original race cars, or that belonged to the Petty family. It's a 69 Charger, 383 4-speed car.
Nice.
Very pretty car. Full restored it and rolling it around.
Well, yes. So
yeah.
it's definitely shorter than we're used to, but again,
it's
been a long week for both of us, I think.
Well, it's on vacation, so
it's been a long week for one of us.
Went on vacation, came back.
So yeah,
did some things.
Like I said earlier, I'm gonna pop these other 2 videos out, so we can watch those, and then yeah, that's about it.
Right.
So
we'll start making some more stuff.
Yeah, if you tuned in, thanks for tuning in. If you didn't, then do it anyways.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you did like it, let us know. If you didn't like something, let us know that too. And if you got something else that you would like to see, leave it in the comment section below.
Suggestions, come on. I mean, we can only come up with so many ideas when we're sitting here like, what do you want to see?
It's what we're here for.
What do you want? How do you want us to entertain?
I mean, I guess we could do some gaming news, but yeah, we really, I guess we really just need to just get back to our bread and butter of like how-tos and little stuff like that. So if you'd like to see more stuff like that, just PC upgrades, budget builds, anything like that, let us know.
Us messing around with stupid games.
Maybe if you come back over soon to help me bleed my hydraulic system. that needs to happen.
Stupid German cars.
I'll be driving our 3rd car tomorrow because it's the only one that I want to drive that runs.
Hey, cars.
It's the fun part about driving a stick, right?
Well, I can't help it that your German stick uses one reservoir for all of its things.
It's not the reservoir's fault. I think it's just bad fluid.
Whose fault's that?
God's.
Well, you could take care of the clutch if it was like an American car, because there's 2 separate reservoirs.
I bet not as much anymore. Actually, I bet a lot of American designs have gone towards a single reservoir system. Because you've only got one reservoir with...
Right, but how many Americans still drive stick?
Not as many as there should be. Anyways, thanks for tuning in.
Sit in this traffic with a stick?
I don't care. I love it.
You'll have like one thick left leg, and your leg would be like, dee-dee.
This is why you don't skip leg day, boys and girls. So you don't end up bitching about driving a clutch like this guy here.
I don't drive a clutch. I don't have that problem.
See, that's what I mean. If he didn't skip leg day, he'd drive a clutch.
Oh, I have consistency.
Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in, and then we'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.